Hummus, avocado, spinach, cheese, fried onion, radish sandwich.
Sandwich! Cheese for everyone!
My favorite oopsie that happened to a lot of people, Kill with Dragon, is the people who all went, wait, why is this wall blue? When they were digging around and building their fort for the first time, and then suddenly it turning into water. That was pretty high up there. Now, I will always promote my own streams and stuff, but if you guys are obsessed with just really wanting to watch Adventure Mode right now, Robaz is playing Adventure Mode, but what I'll say is, please keep the tab open, because it would be very much appreciated. While I finish this sandwich, which I'm almost finished with. I don't know, some Swede. Entronard. All right, sandwich consumption is complete. We have named dwarves in the fort. Inseridius, who is very much, or Indiridius, who is a vampire, who I don't think has been like arrested yet, which is a problem. Shake Break, a devilish potato, Alexa, Amethyst, Antimata, and Antromarch, who is pondering reproductive behavior and is actually like a scholar now. We have Arende, Argamemnon, Bubbin Sours, Bonesaw, the Duke of FireOrb, Boom Boom, Creed, Diamond Destruct, Dwarf is Groot, because I am Groot, Duck Ponders, because Ducks Ponders, Elfie Bean, who's still a bean, Hard Mizzletov, and Cashmere Goat, and Keen Cook, as well as Kokoroko, Patty, Price Rupert, Ryder, and Sean Enjoys Bacon, who was tantruming earlier, Shinobi, who hasn't tantrumed yet, Stormwolf, and Swaghammer, and UGDPY, and Ulfsire, and Vaka, as well as Wuggy. Mom, I made it! Well, there you go. You're the manager because you had some managing skills, and you were high up on the list, and I saw your name first, when my other manager died to something. Also, I'm gonna go enable this. Also, thank you to all of you who are sticking around, by the way, for the dwarfs, because believe it or not, we did lose like 40 people when I swapped from Adventure Mode. A lot of that was on YouTube, but it is what it is. And I can also, as much as I like this song, I think 2 Coins is rapidly becoming my favorite song. Also, good news to those of you who watched the manic, like, drugsy shorts that Fog made for the... Whoa, geez, money, what? Why did that play sounds? Stupid. So, Devil Dawn, thank you very much for that 5-pack of gift subs. I'm gonna go disable the sound that just played, because I don't ever want to hear that bling again, but that's not your fault. It's my fault for being a dumb and, you know, using Streamlabs. That being said...
7 cheers, X100.
That being said, I found the button to fix it. That's good. But also, what I have to say is thank you very much for those bits and those 5 gift subs, because I think you just doubled today's revenue, because I've made, like, absolutely no money today. So appreciate you guys.
X200, Crypt Bongo.
Streamlabs equals DF hack. What? I mean, I'm not using Streamlabs OBS. It's literally just my notifications for Twitch. So Streamlabs equals the notifications that I use. which you don't need to use for Twitch at all.
Gazoom44 cheered. X100.
Or YouTube for that matter. So I don't understand your logic there. Apparently that sound is called Positive Win Game Sound 5.ogg. Apparently. Anyway, I should have all of those disabled now. Also, Gaia, thanks for upgrading our YouTube membership. Appreciate you. Yep, one more person either needs to resub, prime sub, gift a sub, or use bits. All right. Should be good. Okay. What was I doing? Right. We have the king, the monarch. We also have two baron and an outpost liaison that we need to fully satisfy, as well as a captain of the guard. What? You mean like the beverage? I think you can buy Fanta at dollar stores here. I don't think I've seen Fanta in years though. Let alone Fanta Zero. Stormwolf. Your dwarf is a glassmaker, legendary glassmaker. You want to be with family real bad. Unfortunately, you have none, so can't help you there. You are, satisfied when discussing your problems with an acquaintance, though, so that's helping. You need some new clothes. You have no health problems, and you are 59 years old and a member of the Sect of Skulls, which is a pretty good name for a religion, and you're a member of the Glassmakers Guild. Dominoc, thanks for gifting a subscription.
Has gifted 1 subs to viewers.
1 subs to viewers. I need to I've literally not had time to sit down and go through my alerts since the charity thing, and it has literally broken all of my alerts, and I have to go fix them. I need to go dig up that photo on the internet of me literally lying down in the middle of a flock of geese because I fell asleep and woke up and they were just there. They were pretty chill. I just kind of stood up and walked around them. I think it is socially and morally acceptable to scar my livestock for life for no valid reason, right, chat? Do you agree? I'm just going to put a bunch of butchery stuff down here. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so just checking. Burrow's still on. There we go. He was one of the original 7. Well, I mean, aside from he wants to be with family, I'm pretty sure we have Fanta in Canada. I don't actively look for it. I'm pretty sure we do. But I've certainly never seen sugar-free Fanta. And as a diabetic, I don't really buy soft drinks. But I'm sure we have it. I've never really seen it and don't really recall seeing it. So that seems like it's probably a me problem and not really Fanta. But thank you very much for the little out of nowhere hype train, chat. Gazoom, thanks for the $1. Gazoom, thanks for $2. Lanix, thanks for the $1. Devilon with the 5 subs. And Dominoc with the 1 gift. You guys have literally become the vast majority of my revenue for today. Actually, I can tell you for a fact instead of bullshitting because I'm pretty sure that's the case. Yeah, okay. So I'd made $21. So yeah, you just doubled my revenue. Thank you. Greatly appreciated. No, it's in Alberta. All right, well, Canada's a big place. I can tell you we don't have Fago here, at least not in BC. I mean, it's not good for you. But yeah, I can drink beer. Would my doctor tell me not to? Probably. But... Basically, when it comes to being diabetic, literally everything is actively shortening your lifespan. Literally everything. Existing is actively shortening your lifespan. Which is ironic because type 1 diabetics like myself have on average, longer lifespan than people who aren't because we have to overcompensate so much for like basic health needs. So because of that, we often become like health food nuts. It's why I largely have become a weekday vegan, or I'm more pescatarian because I do eat cheese and eggs, but I basically just buy vegetarian/vegan food. And most of my meals are either vegan or vegetarian unless somebody else makes it for me because it's easier to count low-fat food. Don't let my appearance fool you. Mentally, I'm very sick. No, I get it. It's fine, Devil Dawn. I'm still saying thank you. It's kind of the expectations of doing a big charity event. Well, I mean, relatable. I'll say it that way, Weedlord. So we do have these trained giant lorikeets. I think they're a breeding pair. They are. So unless one of them is gay, we are good. And I need nest boxes. Okay, let's make 10 rock next boxes. Nest boxes. It's Google's console, not Xboxes. You can't give up Coke Zero and meat. Everything else, you can. You and me couldn't be more different, mate. You live in a rural area? Well, you should garden then. I live in the middle of a goddamn city and I garden. Nestbox 360. Yes. That is probably something that you could buy on AliExpress right now, and it would probably just have a bunch of, like, Nintendo games on it for some reason. I'm increasing my butchery operation because the amount of animals we have has gone up. And also, Devil Dawn, thank you very much for another 5-pack of gift subs. I mean, I grew up in a city of like 50K people. But, I mean, food quality is something that you have to seek out regardless of where you live. Doesn't matter if you live in a big city, doesn't matter if you live in a small town. You have to seek that stuff out, right? You have to go out of your way to get healthy food and good quality food. And also, being vegetarian or vegan does not equal automatically healthy. There's a lot of vegetarian and vegan food that is extraordinarily bad for you. I've literally never had an ability to drive, so you're losing something to become like me. You can be like me and soapbox about how horrible cars are, and how bad people who drive cars are, and how everybody who drives cars is lazy, and how we should all ride bicycles, and how happy I am that bike lanes are getting put in. And it's an easy soapbox for me to stand on. I don't actually hate people, but like, Jesus Christ, please people, stop driving on the sidewalks. I'm talking to car owners, not bike riders. Bike riders too, but like, seriously. Well, what, mate? Like literally, Onyx. Here's my statement about driving on the sidewalk. I was standing at a corner, waiting to cross the street, and a guy pulled a Yui in a pickup truck and drove up over the sidewalk and damn near took me out. This happened last summer. Like I almost got hit by a truck while standing safely, like I don't know, a meter away from the road on the sidewalk. He also would have hit like a traffic pole as well, but he hit his brakes, and I jumped out of the way. But yeah, bike lanes are great. The other thing I'm going to place down here is a couple of these suckers. I'll do these out of mica. And let's get back to butchering because it's been like a year and a bit. Let's say llama. I'm actually just going to geld a shit ton of llamas as well. And slaughter a lot of the lady llamas. And slaughter a lot of the baby llamas. Because we have plenty of llamas. We need some llama leather. And baby llama leather. Bike driver stole your right of way today and you almost rammed him? Ah, I mean, trust me, there's a lot of idiotic bike riders out there.
Giggity, giggity,
But I would say that that's almost always a result of shitty road design. Bartering, yes. Although taverns still don't work properly. They can't take your money even if you owe them a debt. But bartering with random people for items works. You can demand somebody give you their socks. You can trade socks for socks with somebody. I did that. Although I also threw a couple coins in. Otherwise, they kept saying no. But yeah, taverns don't seem to work properly. And repaying debts don't seem to work properly. But at least the UI exists now. You're a happier person when you bike to work instead of drive. Oh, I agree. I hate sitting in cars. It's awful. So you can comfortably do it in the winter in bad weather. Here's the thing, right? You know what sucks about riding a bike in crappy weather? Deciding, I'm going to ride the bike in crappy weather. Once you're out in the crappy weather, it's just fine, usually. Just bring spare pants. We're all fun and giggles until winter comes? I don't know. I rode my bike in the snow last winter. And in the rain. Multiple times. I guess bicycles are all fun and giggles until you realize that you're a pansy and scared of bad weather. Which is fine. Many people are. You're in central Canada? Well, that's your own mistake. The only person who can solve that mistake is you. You've got Stodier has been taken by a Fey Mood and has claimed a magma glass furnace. Has claimed 2 raw green glass. Thank you for the hype train, chat. With 11 subscriptions and $5.69. Appreciate you. Need metal bars, okay. Need logs. Ah, it's logs. What's your name? Stodier. Wow. If it is logs, let's have tanned hides, plant cloth, metal bars. Cut gems. Oh! Probably actually cut gems. I once sat at a bus stop in minus 25, felt like minus 40 with wind chill, waiting for a bus at 6 o'clock in the morning on my way home from work. So, when everybody's like, oh, it's all fun and games until, like, winter comes. My ass. You don't know suffering until you've grown up as a young adult without a car or the ability to drive, without ever having the ability to drive. Making the infrastructure better just makes the world better for literally everybody. That's where me as a cyclist jumps onto the sidewalk and jumps off his bike for the next block and a half until the bike lane reappears usually. Unless there's no people on the sidewalk, in which case then I just stay on the sidewalk. Okay, so you must have logs. Is the front door open? Yes, it is. Well, I kind of really don't want to go outside. How many agitated animals are on the surface? Decent amount of agitated giant wrens. Okay. Also, there's a bunch of wood over there, so I don't fully understand why that... Actually, how about that? Can I use that as an option? There you go. Best bike lanes are the ones which end into stairs. I think you're being sarcastic. Currently, I will say this. I am very fortunate to live in a city that is rebuilding all of its crappy car-focused infrastructure into less crappy pedestrian and bike-focused infrastructure. The stuff I evangelize for and talk about doesn't really apply to living in the middle of nowhere. If you live somewhere rural, yeah, duh, you need a car. But, like, that's your own decision, right? I don't like the isolation of living somewhere rural. It feels really shitty to me. I've never liked it. I don't think I ever will. Okay. No combat happening, so we're in an okay spot. Grabbing the leather you need. Probably have to grab the gems pretty soon. More iron bars, really? Table cut milk opals. Yeah, when it comes to like not having the ability to drive, that's been my whole life. Quite literally. It's always doable. People just get very used to what they're used to and then refuse to try anything new, because new is scary. Raw green glass, iron bars, lychee wood. People are also scared of asking for things that they don't have, because it's confrontation, right? It's not always the most popular request to ask for something that is different from the norm. And if something is culturally accepted as the norm, then that's just what everybody does. The way people work. Always been the way people work. I'm going to expand this ever so slightly. So that I don't need, well, I'm going to just put walls there. Put windows along the inside here. And I'm going to expand you along here. Hopefully increase the value of this ever so slightly. And apparently there's like a whole wall missing right here. What? Let's see if I can make this overlap a little bit without dropping the value. Yeah, I can. Throw some statues in here. I'm sure that'll help the value. Ah. Well, we were waiting for that to happen. Because I do have a vampire, and I know exactly who it is. It is this dwarf up here. Let's see, how do you feel about this? Doesn't feel anything after seeing Alath die. Really? Well, there you go. At least it's still you. All right, so we're going to interrogate our prime suspect. It's you. It is you, yes. It is definitely you. Strip of asphalt a bit away from the road on a small part of the town's perimeter and labeled it bike lane. There was no sidewalk before or after, enough said. Here's the thing. In order for people to use pedestrian-friendly infrastructure, you need to make pedestrian-friendly infrastructure, right? What that is it's a start of pedestrian-friendly infrastructure. So start using it. Right? You can just be like, well, my town built this dumb, useless thing and nobody uses it. Well, duh, because it's dumb and useless. Start using it. And then demand they make it better. That's the only way you get improvements, right? Like, I've lived here in this part of town for 11 years now. It sucked when I first moved here for walking and biking. To the point where I used to own a bike years ago and it got stolen and I didn't give a shit. Because that's how bad it was. I was like, well, I'm not going to use it anyway because it's not safe. And it wasn't. But you know what started happening at the very beginning of the pandemic? Fucking everybody started riding bicycles. And literally everybody bought a bicycle. Because nobody wanted to go on public transit. And nobody had to go to work. So everybody bought a bicycle. And since then, this entire area is being flooded with bikes and bike infrastructure. The city gave everybody a grant that you could apply for if you were within a certain income bracket to just get a free electric bike if you wanted one, or a scooter, right, for short-term transit. You have to demand they make it better. They've given you a sidewalk now. They've called it a bike lane, but it's really a sidewalk, right? That sucks. And you want to use it. You want it to be better. Okay, so demand they make it better. Like, you're paying taxes, I would hope. So the result is, yell at them. Show up at town hall meetings. Yell at them. Tell them to make it better. Tell them to unfuck it. That's all that you can do. Just being like, well, it's used by joggers. Okay, so tell them to make a joggers lane. Because there's obviously a demand for joggers. Does that make sense? Like, I realize it's a frustrating problem to deal with, but like, it is the reality. This is where I start to really frustrate people when it comes to like city and transportation stuff. For the same reason, yeah. Karma fight, that sucks though. Stodier, the glassmaker, has created Nefastumur Satadun, a green glass amulet and offers it to the hot sparks. Let us do see. This is a green glass amulet. All craft worship is of the highest quality. It's encrusted with point cut milk opals and studded with iron, encircled with leather, and encircled with bands of pigtail. This object is adorned with hanging rings of green glass, lychee wood, and llama wool. On the item is an image of a forgotten beast in green glass. On the item is an image of raspberry bushes in green glass. On the item is an image of taut ships in green glass. On the item, the taut ships, the green glass animal trap in iron. All right, there we go. Well, let's plop you over in here. Why is the lava 7? There is a reason for this, and I always forget. Because it's a very programmer brain reason. But it's 7 because that's how deep it is. That's indicating that it's full, basically. Also, is this dwarf's body still here? I don't actually think that Alath has a tomb. Why my mini-map not working now? Game? The hell? There you are. Let's just delete you, because there's no body in that. Create new one. Give it to Alath. Well. Apparently they have one. I mean, I got unassigned ones too. All right, well, it looks like our vampire here admitted to the crime. They're getting 225 days in prison. Oh, sorry. They're getting chained up right now about a previous crime that they committed. So this dwarf is going to... is this even the same dwarf? Yes, okay. So he is currently trying to chain up that dwarf. Ability to stand lost. Missing a leg? When did you lose a leg? Earlier this year, apparently. Well, then. Oh, you got bit by a forgotten beast real bad. Well, we did have one of those in the living room. It can actually make a small difference. The thing is, you need to remember who are the kinds of people that get elected to public office in small towns. The wealthy guy who lives in the suburb who knows all of the soccer moms who are capable of voting him in. Those are the people who generally end up in control in small towns. So if you live in a small town and you're like, man, this sucks. Why is this not functioning? What? Dog. UI, please. If you live in a small town and you really want a bike, okay, now it's working. Bizarre. Why can't I search for cat? What is going on? Seems like this patch is breaking things. All right, well, can I type in cow? Okay, that works. Okay. I'm just going to geld literally every bull and slaughter most every bull. Actually, not gonna geld them, just slaughter them. Slaughter most every bull. Oh, no, totally. But, like, every area can be changed with enough pestering. But yeah, I realize I can be very annoying when it comes to just like evangelizing certain types of infrastructure. And I do actually drive some people nuts. And it's funny because whenever these conversations happen, there's always somebody who just like gets either really annoyed at me in Twitch chat or really annoyed at me after the fact in YouTube chat. And it's fine, you know? Like not everybody has the energy for that kind of activism. And that's okay. In a lot of cases, I don't. Fortunately, I live somewhere that is doing that without me having to go be a crazy person. Drive them nuts? You heard me. Also, you know, a lot of places seem to think that bike lanes going in equals less parking, which equals less business. Yet literally every single study has proven that better walkability infrastructure increases businesses to small businesses. And if you can convince crazy people who own businesses and also have lots of money that, and show them the evidence of that, they tend to cave in the direction of bikes and walkable infrastructure pretty quickly. I mean, I could talk about literally anything, but this is what chat keeps talking about, so that's what I'm talking about. Well, rural can mean two things. For me, anyway. Rural can mean tiny town where you live off in a tiny little wood cabins in the middle of fuck nowhere, and the population is 500, like the area I grew up in. Or, and you're near, and being a kid, the nearest friend of mine was a 45-minute bike ride away. Or rural can mean you live close to a city or in a city, and actually live in the suburbs 45 minutes to an hour outside of the city, and the entirety of that hour drive is a highway followed by driveways, and there's no sidewalks and no through roads, and everything is circular. That almost is rural to a degree. And if you choose to live there, live your life, I suppose, but I don't know why you would do such a thing. I'm just looking forward to the era of, well, maybe not looking forward, dreading the era of the suburbs of the U.S. Langley is kind of rural, mate. Of like the suburbs of like America and Canada becoming slums, because the in thing now isn't to live in the, like, the goal in life for a lot of young people, not everybody obviously, but for a lot of young people, is to live in the city in a walkable area where you don't need to drive. So the desirable thing and the desirable living situation becomes the expensive one. Meaning eventually what's going to happen is the suburbs are going to become affordable because nobody's going to want to live there. And that's already happening in some cases. But because we don't have any rezoning laws, congratulations, they're all going to be bankrupt, because if you've looked at the price of cars recently, you're fucked. Yeah, no, exactly, Brazilian Joe. You're completely correct. It's like what they think of is the convenience of loading and unloading cars for people who buy large amounts of things because every single store thinks they're Costco. Try housing? Housing is more affordable than a truck. You can't change my mind. Especially when we're talking about 2022 brand new cars. Because at the very least, you can, like, I've met many people in my life. I live in one of the most expensive cities in North America, mate. I'm well aware of how expensive housing is. However, between running costs, insurance, and purchase costs, most people end up spending more money per year on their car than they do on living. Getting a mortgage is fucking hard and you need a lot of money, yes. But most people end up spending more on their car than they do on living and existing. Okay, so this fortress is called FireOrb. Let's try and get on topic here. This fortress is called FireOrb. I want to build orb. Okay, so I'm going to try and build glass orb. Orbs, even. Orb things. So I'm thinking about trying to, well, first off, wall off this thing, which is just going to be more of a tube. I need to wall off this all the way up, and that shouldn't be too hard. And I've crypt orb. You could just use my emote. and try and go up as high as possible, basically like sealing this walkway off so I could safely retire this fort if I wanted to, which currently I can't. Because even though liquids no longer spill, supposedly, I don't trust the rest of the game to, like, you know, not cause this volcano to overflow. So we're just going to start building walls along here. I'm going to start building flooring here. And I'm going to build stairs going up to here. And we're going to go all the way along here, all the way around here, and then all the way around here, and then all the way up to the top. So let's also just kind of start up here as well. How did I manage that? I clicked twice, apparently. Yeah, we should be able to do that. Let's go down here. So this will do a few things. It'll make this area a lot safer. And let's also add you back into this. It'll make this area a lot safer for the dwarves, as well as also, oh, that's fine. As well as also making the fort retirable, so that when we play some adventure mode tomorrow, we can retire the fort. I do know that, I'm pretty sure there's another volcano spout in the basement, but I can only do so much. Apparently, I've just been welcomed to my chat room. It's good to feel so welcomed. Let's just do it this way. Yeah, it's like I said, it's very welcoming. It means I disconnected from my chat for a second there. That's not a future I can live in, Harmonious, because I can't drive. RVs are not usable for me. As a person with eyesight that doesn't work, I literally cannot live in that future. So, enjoy your RV. But yeah, I don't know. City infrastructure is depressing to me. I'd rather live in a capsule hotel in Japan, personally. Entrenarch. Very much would rather live in a capsule hotel in Japan than live in a RV. That's here. Well, that's a floor. How do I keep clicking on the floor option? It's like right next to it. Oh, I believe they're fine. It's just a bed and a box. Perfectly livable. But then again, I consider, like, hostels a acceptable form of travel, which I know a lot of people don't, so. Like, there's part of me that's just a little broken in that regard. Is this one not in the borough? Oh, wow. It's kind of funny. It's like, why are they not building that? Well, it's not in the borough. 'Cause I don't want them going outside. Let's go here. This. Just a heads up, the Dwarf Redemption should be available if anybody wants a dwarf. Trying to actually get this stream back on subject. Has anybody messed around with the table spawning stuff in adventure mode? I'm curious if anybody's ran around in an already generated world, because I'm curious if the tables are working, basically. It's not a weird username, no. My right eye doesn't function at all, and my left eye barely functions. I see essentially out of a toilet paper tube. The username started off as self-deprecating humor back when I used to play Counter-Strike with other human beings on the internet, because who didn't when, like, you grew up in the era I grew up in. So it started off as self-deprecating humor and kind of stuck, and I never fully expected it to become branding. I started streaming as a hobby, and oops. You have lived here in Canada for 2 years, but you still can't grasp how expensive any kind of housing is? I've lived in Canada my entire life, right? And when it comes to housing, you can find housing. Can you always afford the nicest housing? Absolutely not. Does it suck? Yes. Could it be better? Yes, absolutely. Is it impossible? No. But it does suck, and I completely agree with that. Because everything could always be better. But at the end of the day, at least where I live, living in the greater Vancouver area, the part of the reason the rent is so high here is because people want to live here, right? If you happen to live somewhere where people want to live, I hate to break it to you, rent's going to be not cheap. And in the last few years, rent's gotten ridiculous. And cost of living has gotten ridiculous. That is true. Absolutely. But they are trying to fix it. It is a recent problem of like a rapid inflation of the value of rent. And that is not a thing that is unique to the area that I live in. It is a thing that's happening in a lot of places, right? And regardless, like I've had people ask me for years, they're like, why don't you move to Edmonton or why don't you move to Calgary? It's like, well, because then I would have to live in Edmonton, right? Then I would have to live somewhere that's would net me a significantly lower quality of life because of the amenities available to me that I need, right? In order to live as a disabled person, right? Not everybody needs all of that stuff. And if you don't need all of that stuff, if you don't think certain things are important, then by all means, please, for the love of everything, like literally go live somewhere else. Like try your damnedest to go move somewhere that is more economically affordable and accessibly like dependable for you. Right now in Chile, any kind of housing is just for rent. Oh no, yeah, no, totally. Like here, it's like a weird mix of Airbnb and long-term rentals. Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky in that I have a unit I can afford, and not everybody's in the same position as me, and I'm aware of this. But at the same time, like you can make it work. It sucks, but this kind of goes back to my arguments about bikes, right? You have to fix the legislation. You have to fix the government. 70% of Vancouver's an Airbnb. I can tell you for a fact that is a wrong number, but there are a lot of Airbnbs in Vancouver. Because I've walked in the middle of downtown Vancouver and looked at available Airbnbs, and it's not that many. But it's just like, you know, the classic, I think it's a Far Side comic strip, which is like 70% of statistics are made up 45% of the time or something. I think it was Far Side that did that. It was some newspaper comic. Oh, wait, what? Oh, I guess that's not accessible. That makes sense. I was like, why don't you? Oh, it's because they can't get there. Because why the fuck would you want to live in Phoenix? Like, genuine question. People who live in Phoenix don't want to live in Phoenix. Like, that's why it's cheaper in Phoenix, is because why would you want to live in martial arts schools? Come on. Nobody in their right mind would willingly move to a place where you can't walk your dog in the summer because it's so hot. You can't change my mind on that. Yet people literally get on airplanes to visit the city I'm in. Of course the rent's cheaper in Phoenix. Like, I know people who live in Phoenix, right? And it's always one answer when I ask, why do you choose to live in Phoenix? Housing costs. And that makes sense. That is the reason to live in Phoenix. To which I respond with, how much do you pay for your air conditioning every year? You were walking into bus exhaust. Ooh, that's bad. That's really bad. We have electric buses here. They don't have exhaust. Not all of our buses are electric, just the inner city ones. But like, geez, man. That's pretty gruesome. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Having a scorpion infestation in your house sounds kind of badass. But yeah, that would be awful. you know, my city, the Greater Vancouver area now is, as of like, I think it's the 1st of May. Or no, it was like the 28th. It was like the last day of May. It was like almost the 1st of April. Changed our legislation with Airbnbs so that they're basically getting fined thousands of dollars per month for having Airbnbs and for running Airbnbs. And while I'm pretty certain that Airbnb will find a loophole, right now, in the area that I live in my building, there used to be about 20 Airbnbs out of like 200 units. You want to know how many there is now? 0. In the next door building, there is 1. There used to be like a dozen or so. So, you know, it all kind of comes back down to like, when it comes to Airbnb, make it illegal. Which sounds super easy, but it's not. Problem now is like proving that they're running them. I have 2 cactuses because Elfie Bean gave me 2 cactuses, so I have 2 cactuses. I kind of don't know how to raise them. That cactus might be dead. I'm not totally sure. I prefer monsteras that I'm constantly convinced and reminded that it's alive when leaves randomly appear on it. It's more my speed of plant. I don't know. Cactuses are a bit sluggish. And you know, like the whole watering weekly thing is like, that's a pattern I can get into and like stick to and keep up with. But like, cactuses make like noticeable growth movements maybe once a year. Man. They're too little to be watered once a week or so. They would drown. No, I give them like, I don't know, like a little spritz out of a spritz bottle like once a month. And I like I said, I don't think they're dead. But yeah, weekly I'm pretty sure would kill a cactus. So I do it when my rent is paid. When my rent is paid, I pay the cactus. A visit? I mean, I'm not literally paying it. In fact, it should be paying me for the water and rent for like the 1x1 inch in my apartment. Based on people's like imagined living costs of this area, it should be paying me like at least $1,800 a month, right? It has a pot. True. Yeah, no, you can in fact talk to your cactus daily. I don't talk to my houseplants, but I do pet them sometimes. More accurately, I dust them. Don't really pet them, but this is Dwarf Fortress, yeah. That is the video game that we were playing. Accurate. Oh, wait, there are so wait, this seems like Dwarf Fortress because there's scorpions in your fort? Well, is your fort in a scorching desert? More importantly, is Phoenix a dwarven word? Because if it is, someone should make Phoenix. Just like Red Sand Desert, call the fort Phoenix. Do not pet your cacti. Well, I said I pet my house plants. I didn't say I pet my cactus. I kind of like associate the two of them differently in my brain. But yes, you are correct. I did imply that I was petting my cactuses. Drown those hoes when you water them. You can underwater a cactus. I mean, I use a spritz bottle, but it gets like 4 or 5 spritzes. Also, Kiri says that the mechanics in Crypt Keeper are amazing, and the writing is brilliant. I think Kiri liked Crypt Keeper. Which, for some reason, whenever I say Crypt Keeper, I do not think... No, Crypt Master, not Crypt Keeper. Crypt Master. That name is, like, very unmemorable and does not scream typing edutainment dungeon crawler in my brain. But, you know... Not what I would have named that game, but... I realize it's named after a character in the game, but... We make more tombs. But do they drink sweat more, or do they just overheat and die? Dwarves are not affected by any of the default temperature amounts in Dwarf Fortress. So you don't, if you settle in a scorching biome, they don't dry up and die or anything like that. Can't happen. But it is possible in Advanced World Gen to make worlds that are so hot your dwarves spontaneously combust. Although I'm not sure if those are considered unplayable worlds, because there's probably playable areas in them, but... Usually minimize hallways. Is there a reason to have dead-end hallways? So... Work with me here for a second. I've been informed by a number of people over the years, and by number of people I mean Zach, Tarn, and Putnam, that one of the most power-hungry pieces of code in Dwarf Fortress is the line of sight code. It's also the only code in the game that is multi-threaded, courtesy of Putnam. Now, what this means is that if dwarves can see each other, the game slows down. Or can slow down more if dwarves will slow down more with time if dwarves can see each other. So if you have lots of hallways, they don't see each other as much. Item wear and tear is affected by temperature? Interesting. Well, it doesn't affect the dwarves. Like, your dwarves aren't going to die of dehydration randomly. Unless, like, you have no booze or something. Because you thought it was sphere? No, mechanically, it doesn't really affect the game much. It's like, does it affect the game? Sure. But, like, is it going to cause your dwarves to, like, randomly die? No, not really. Curious where you're collecting this body from. There we go. Why do you hate bananas? Where's Banana Unlimited when we need him? Also, hi, I hate bananas. I also kind of hate bananas. You want to know why I hate bananas? It's because bananas try to kill me. They make my blood sugar go really high. Rock coffin. I'll make 50 rock coffins. Not to be confused with 30 rock coffins. Although those are much funnier. Green glass, green glass, green glass. I'm using these bridges like scaffolding, by the way, if you're wondering what I'm doing. Allows me to build walls quicker. Yeah, let's also build one along here. Continue with this. You talk about material color, at least some of them being so vastly different in color shade and tone between floor, wall, and bridge. I don't know about floors, walls, and bridges specifically, but what I do know is when it comes to assets not matching things, it's a matter of thing wasn't ready when Tarn was coding it, / Tarn wasn't ready when they were making the art, / Tarn is the bottleneck for completing visual changes in the game's tile set. Because there is a shit ton of assets in this game, and there's lots of priorities, and lots of people want lots of different things. Like, a good example of this is Baby Dwarf sprites, like the infant sprites. They've been done since before Dwarf Fortress came out on Steam, as far as I know. But Tarn just hasn't had time to implement them. How do I have that many glass blocks? Is that how many magma furnaces do I have? Like 7 or 8 magma? How many magma furnaces do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What I do, I have 10. What I do is I set it so that half of them can actually make blocks, and the other half, and then all of them collect sand. So basically, for every 1 block job, I have 2 collect sand jobs. So we always have a surplus of sand. And then I told them to make like 50 bags at some point. You always make a floor? I used to always make floors, and then I realized that deconstructing them was a pain in the ass, so I stopped making floors and now make bridges. I don't know if I would say it's genius, but... This should just get thrown away. So over here can get green glass blocks. Dwarves can't really make pavement, though. I mean, you can make roads, but can you make roads above ground? I don't believe I've ever actually tried. Yeah, no, you can't make above ground roads. I mean, yeah, no, there is a lot of things in Dwarf Fortress that are just a not done yet reviewable post talk.
Humble Book Bundle. Cosplay Like a Pro was just purchased for $18.
Thank you for reminding me that I still take money from Humble sometimes. Which I don't really remember. Most of the time, because I only get paid by them like maybe once a year because their rates are so bad. What are roads used for? Stopping trees from spawning, mostly. And I can just go here and deconstruct that. It's no longer needed. Go up here. That. Do this. I'm gonna get told to stop chopping down trees, right? Yep. I can chop down 6 this year. Okay. I'd rather not go to war with you, but if you insist, it may have to happen. I don't think so. I don't ever use them. I literally use floors. Although, I will say, it is worth making roads sometimes. I know how to play this video game. I hate bananas. Oh, yes. Okay, spider silk shirt. You. Wait, yeah, you should be fine. Pigtail shirt, you should be fine. I don't think I've studied anything with bones or wood. Okay, spider silk shoes. Nope. 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 Yep. Nope. 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 Yes. No, no, nope, yep. I think I can use green glass. I know I can't use clear glass. Smells nice down there. You're also one of those wardos that they usually send their military anyways? Well, then don't go to war with them. The, trick to not going to war with elves is literally never chop down a tree ever and import wood. That's it. And then just only sell them things that you know 100% for certain that it's not going to upset them. But there's nothing weird about that. The only people that are weird are the people who take their, self-imposed natural prejudices and impart that upon the game. So, you're not weird for trying to trade with one of the most valuable trade partners in the game. People are weird for shaming people who use the game mechanics as permitted. Such as, using elves as a way to import large tame animals. Person is put up by... Okay, fair. What are you, pump operator? Dream of mastering a skill. Isn't particularly ambitious. Likes a little excitement. I do have space in this. You've been using flooring? Yeah, they're literally right here. So are dirt roads, but dirt roads eventually grow. The thing about paved roads that you need to remember is, one, they're really ugly, but they give dwarves happy thoughts if they're nearby paved roads, which I think is really funny. So if you're okay with them just being plain gray, they're actually a really valuable thing to build because they do give happy thoughts. Yes, that, Gamer. All right. Let's do that. Okay, of course, yeah, Lennox. Merchant never used roads. Well, I mean, if merchants can't pass through the trees, then they can't pass through the trees. They're not going to show up where the roads are, right? But they will show up in roughly the same spot. So figure out where they're showing up and build roads right up to that area, and they'll do the equivalent of using those roads. Roads have not been palletized ever in the entire history of this game existing. So they haven't been palletized for like 20 years. And I know this because I checked. You have a pretty pattern of dolomite and limestone. Actually, I wonder about something. I want to test something. Paved road. Let's just say green glass, right? It's obviously not going to be palletized. I just have a lot of green glass. But I'm going to make a road right here. I want to see if I can make it invisible. Oh yeah, me too. Celestine, absolutely. Maybe a mod can help? Probably. I have no intention on using a mod, even if it can help. But, yeah. Is there a way to dismantle a wall piece on top of a floor piece without ripping out the floor? No. No, there isn't. Not that I'm aware of. Although, here's the thing. You used to not be able to build walls on floors like this. So to anybody who didn't have to suffer through the era of Dwarf Fortress of having to deconstruct the floor because it would tell you that there's an item in the way or an object in the way, just realize that the way it works now is significantly more convenient in like almost every way. Catch you later. We'll see you later, Lennox. Take care of yourself. Okay, so they're going to slowly start working on that. Don't know what this last item is. All of this should be safe to trade. I might be wrong. They brought date palm flower stalks. Wow. They're literally bringing nothing because I've done so little trading with them. But they are bringing fruits and stuff, so let's see. I'll just buy a bunch of fruits. I do need the fruits anyway. Let's do that. What sounds awful for architecture? The having to delete floors? Yeah, no, I mean it sucked. It was awful. It was like, to me, the two most like for most people, right, Dwarf Fortress coming out on Steam, the most important thing was graphics and UI, right? Except for all those people like, UI still sucks. In which case, okay, fine. Sorry you feel that way. Anyway, but that was like the most important feature for most people. For me, it was the ability to build constructions on floors and the fact that dwarves can make underwear. Those were the two most important changes for me about premium releasing. Dwarves can make underwear, and being able to construct walls on floors. And those features, dwarves being able to wear underwear and being able to construct walls on floors, is the reason I can't go back to older versions now. Like, I feel like it's just like a conversation that comes up pretty frequently about like how some people like can't like play new versions of the game because like they miss old features. It's like, There are features I miss from older versions of the game. Absolutely. 100% there are features I miss. But none of them outweigh the fact that I can build walls on floors now. I think dwarves can only make one type of underwear. It's loincloths, right? Pretty sure it's only loincloths. So this is just going to be stairs down to here.
Green T _X just resubbed for 16 months.
Green Tea, thank you very much for that resub. For 16 months. Means a lot, dude. Thank you so much for keeping that subscription alive. You know, let's actually just do it this way. You thought it was a pants replacement option? No, it's a different clothing type. So, truth about the way dwarves clothing works. Chat, can I get a round of beers for the 16-month resub? A little bit about how dwarven clothing works. Also, thank you very much for the first resubscription. Well, actually, the first notification of money in an hour. I was gonna say the first resub in like 30 minutes, but apparently it's been like an hour. We had a hype train like an hour ago. But the way dwarven clothing works is dwarves crave clothing that they've worn before. So if you have dwarves in your fort, I know that might come as a surprise, but if you have dwarves in your fort, which is shocking, then they only want to acquire the clothing that the clothing that they have acquired before in the past, right? And so if you have dwarves that have never worn underwear before, they'll never want to wear underwear. They'll never feel the need for underwear. However, if a dwarf equips underwear, then they will be upset until they can equip new underwear. They will slowly get upset about their underwear getting old. They will never take it off until it literally rots off their body. Napalm Cyburns, thank you very much for the tier 2 subscription. Thank you very much for keeping this channel alive. And for the first resub notification in 2 minutes. It's a massive improvement. But no, seriously, thank you so much, dude. It means a lot. And so they will get upset. Like, if you make hoods once, they'll want hoods forever. If you make, like, gloves once, they'll want they will then demand gloves, basically. So the clothing is as, like, they're as needy about clothing as you want. However, sometimes you'll get greedy dwarves that just want to acquire items and wealth. Those dwarves will, have a higher need for acquisition of items at a more rapid frequency, so it's easier to keep them happy if you're producing more types of clothing. Most forts end up with way too much cloth anyway, so it doesn't really matter at a point. But in early game, at the very least, if you want less demand from your dwarves, do not allow them to have clothing that they've never had before. As an example, the dwarves in this fort, the only clothes that they showed up with initially was shirts, trousers, some of them had dresses, and shoes, socks. That was it, right? So it's pretty easy to keep these dwarves happy because they have low demands for clothing. Now, the reason underwear was important was elves would show up wearing underwear. So would goblins, sometimes. Now we have the same problem with masks, by the way. Because goblins can have those like bone masks and stuff that the dwarves then equip and then can't make, and so they have the same problem. But underwear, elves would invade you once. And what would happen when elves invaded you once is then for literally all eternity, your dwarves would crave underwear. Because elves would all show up wearing underwear, and then the dwarves can't make it, and so they would just start having panic attacks because they can't make underwear. And because their clothing was rotting off their body, which is one of the worst negative thoughts you can give a dwarf. So, like, it was basically just almost not a guaranteed death spiral of your fort if you, like, half of your dwarves suddenly equipped underwear, but it was going to be a lot of negative moves you were going to have to, like, compensate for the rest of your fort's existence. So that's why, like, Dwarf Fortress coming out on Steam was the Undies update. Unlikely, because migrant waves generally come from your own faction. Whoa. Wait. I need to go back in the VODs, but wasn't that the dragon I had in my last fort? Like the one that had a kid? The dragon Obasp Lungu Kungot Obasp Sulo has come. A gigantic reptilian creature. It is magical and can breathe fire.
For 49 months.
These monsters can live for thousands of years.
FUN has arrived.
Yeah, the one that I was training. Well, I mean, we don't have to go to Legends mode. I could literally just go look at the VODs. But, like, there's a couple different VODs. I mean, you guys could check, too, because the save file is in the announcement section. But I can figure that out relatively easily. Yep. It is. It's bonded to Eurus Landwalk, who's dead. Because Eurus Landwalk was its team. Also, it's semi-wild. Whoa. Hold on. Are you... Are you friendly? Holy shit, dude. So, I have a question. Is it going to attack me? Because it's already in the pets and livestock screen. One second. 1,000. Now what? I want to see if I can just assign it to a... Is this not in the burrow? Oh, it is. Dragon is friend, I think. Okay, so now that this was the thing I wanted to check. Can I make roads invisible? Yeah, whoa, okay, that's kind of neat. So apparently making a road invisible changes the color texture of the road, the thing underneath it. Huh. Oh, no, visible, that's the one I need. Anyway. Yeah, it looks like it's removing the opacity from the glass, yeah. So... Huh. First thing I need to do is assign a trainer to it. Let's assign Esmil to it. Oh no, I know that much, Ryder, yeah. The thing is, it will Did my population just go down? I wasn't looking. Okay, so it is not tamed then. But it is still the dragon that I tamed before. It is weird that it's showing up in this screen, though. Oh yeah, no, and the wiki's wrong all the time. Literally none of my cage traps are full. I'm going to lock this door. This might not actually be able to lock it. True story. And the other thing that I'm going to do, because it'll stop it from pathing. However, if it's already pathing in, it won't care. Also going to lock this door. And let's see what happens.
Caffeine just subscribed.
Caffeine, thank you very much for the Prime subscription. Well, I think I've just caught it in my fort, if nothing else. Also, it didn't attack my war dog, so I guess that's a good sign. So these guys are not actually a member of my fortress. They're just random visitors, nobles. Okay, well, they've destroyed one bridge. They're about to kill all these elves. Roulette was found dead, melted. Okay, so yeah, no, they are in fact killing my dwarves. This tavern up here shouldn't be accessible. Oh, no, never mind. No, it is. It absolutely is accessible. Forgot about those stairs. Well, this is about to get burny. Now there's an agitated giant lorikeet. Certainly possible it could mean war, yeah. Did these have cages in them? These ones do. Okay, so what I'm going to do is hope my dwarves aren't stupid. Which is my first mistake. I'm gonna go here and I'm going to go get rid of all this shit right now. Like right now. And also get rid of this shit. Okay. And get rid of it. Oop. Actually, I'm just gonna click drag. Yep. Okay. Now that all that's been done, I'm also gonna get rid of this. And I'm gonna go up to here and I'm gonna be like, boom! It's gone. Get out of here, dwarves. Run away. So they're all running downstairs. It just released, the dragon just released a trained giant honey badger. You think the dragon in a semi-wild state is bug? Oh, for certain. 1000% it is a bug. It's just kind of a weird bug. And it's a bug I'm totally okay with. There's an elven diplomat here. Yeah, now it does mean war. It destroyed my road. I just think it's a funny bug. There's a cat. Well, it's okay. We don't need more of those. Well, it sucks to be you, dwarves. Who's here? Cashmere is about to be Cashmere Toast instead of Cashmere Goat. Is now Cashmere Toast. All of my tables have just melted. But here's the thing. It's not actually fighting with my dwarves. Like, this is Bonesaw. Okay, it is killing my war dogs, which is normal dragon behavior. Yeah, Bonesaw's still alive. So it's killing my war dogs, which, like I said, is normal dragon behavior. It's killing neutral entities, which are things that are not members of my fort. But, like, I don't actually... Yeah, okay. It's not getting caught on my cage traps. Yeah, so I should be able to pasture it then. Okay, so I'm going to try and pasture it here. I'm going to move the lorikeets up here. Throw it into a terrarium. I'm gonna just try and pasture it first and get it trained. Yeah, no, it's friendly. Holy shit. That is insane. I've never had that happen. I like this bug. This is a good bug. I mean, I did go through all of the effort of catching this dragon once, so. Wow. I mean, he's a little burny, but she's a little burny. Oh, this is the baby one! This is the little baby dragon! Ubal was its mother. And one was its father. I mean, we did kind of get a boom. It torched a lot of elves. He's a little nippy, yeah. A little spicy. All right, baby. Start making us some dragon eggs. So these don't all have cages in them, but... Oh. I kind of lost my manager in that fire, so... sorry to Alexa, you are dragon food. Same with Cashmere. So I would assume if its mum shows up, it would also be friendly. Stormwolf, you are now the new manager, by the way. Do you think it will stop to show other beasts? You mean like stopping other beasts from showing up because there's already one on the map? No. I've had like multiple dragons show up on a save before, or like a dragon and then a rock. It's sort of like how you can have multiple forgotten beasts in the fort, if that makes sense. Or like forgotten beasts and titans. In fact, I think dragons are considered like the same as titans and forgotten beasts and weird creatures. So happy bearded dwarf. No preference of job, I assume? How about lore? What is a champion? They're sort of like the head of your military. They don't have any actual tasks currently, aside from they go around and train with your soldiers. You know what? You don't... Okay, so I need to ask for confirmation if you do in fact want this dwarf. Dominok. This one can't grasp. So they are a naked monk. Basically. You were a wrestler and you were in the military. You killed a giant wren as well as a bunch of crundles. And you lost your right lower arm. And your left arm is just mangled. But they're very happy. So if you're okay with being a dwarf that's currently wearing nothing but shoes and socks, and will never wear clothing, you could be this dwarf. There is no way to develop and make friends with wild animals that are intelligent, Kelith. So unless you mod the game, use DF hack to force it, or just be really lucky and have a faction that has them as part of the faction, it is impossible to make them your friend unless they happen to show up as part of a, like, performance troupe, basically. Also, holy clips. Boom, boom, you are a god. You want some crundles in cages to get tossed into magma? Do you designate it as a pit and pond? Yeah, and then you can assign the crundles to the pit and pond. Like, just exactly the same way you assign animals to a pasture, and they just throw them into the pit and pond. It needs to be 2 tiles wide. One for the dwarf to stand on, and then one over top of the hole. You like to grasp. So you would not like this dwarf, even though they are the happiest bearded dwarf in the fort. That isn't already named. Okay, so we'll go with the second happiest then. We'll go with Dakust, the glassmaker. Dominok is euphoric due to inebriation and bored after attending a sermon. Me too, man. Me too. You don't like miasma. Strange. Is prone to strong feelings of jealousy. Is very slow to anger. Finds helping others emotionally rewarding. And can be very happy and optimistic. Is easily moved to mercy. Prefers to be alone. Doesn't seek out excitement. Is stubborn. Generally finds himself to be quite hopeful about the future. Tries to keep things orderly. Isn't particularly curious about the world. Generally acts with a narrow focus on the current activity. And tenses up when he's nervous. And he talks to inanimate objects when there is a lull in conversation and needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't really care about anything anymore. Maybe someday soon. I mean, everything is possible someday soon, right? Here's the thing. Tarn has talked for a very long time about wanting to make Gorlax less wild animal-ish. And I've heard... I'm not taking credit for this, but I had a Gorlak queen in a recent fort. Recent being like a couple months ago. And that Gorlak queen got made into a couple videos. And apparently those videos were sent to Tarn. And Tarn emphasized his desire to make Gorlax functional. So, you know. This dwarf. Personally finds romance distasteful, doesn't particularly value loyalty, doesn't feel strongly about the law, and dreams of raising a family. I don't understand this. This is contradicting. Likes granite, silver, and cinnamon, and glossier in the color pumpkin, spears and backpacks and weapon racks, and black mamba men for their deadly bite. And the sound of the ivory diamond, when possible, prefers to consume rye beer and acada seeds. And absolutely hates purring maggots. You have a pet cat named Stodir. Well, that's why you're happy. She's like, I want family, but hate romance and people and laws. I will have a cat. Also, you're friends with Ryder. Sort of. And you don't like miasma. Welcome to the fort. A cat has, in fact, adopted you, yes. All right, so let's give... Okay, so there's two things I need to do. One thing is I need to go up here. I'm kind of sad. I really did want those extra fruits. Those would have been helpful, but the dragon had to burn the elves on the way in. Like, the dragon's a typical member of chat. You know what? Sure, we'll do it that way. Those will probably end up being... We'll just do green glass. So we'll do 2 boulders probably, and then the rest will all be green glass. 1 dark colored patch, and that's where we'll put the nest boxes. Chat burns fruit? No, chat automatically screams when I don't kill the elves, and the dragon arrives and kills the elves. I don't know, it just seems like normal chat behavior. Maybe I'm generalizing. No, because they have this habit of, like, duck ponders. They have this habit of setting your soldiers on fire when they are active. Although I'm not entirely certain that that's still a thing. I want it pastured regardless. What was it? Alexa? And who was the other dwarf that I lost? I lost another named dwarf. Oh well. Also, the cat hanging out with the dragon is pretty fitting. I should start collecting dragon eggs and putting them on pedestals, I think. Semi-wild. Okay, so is anybody training? We're going to need to keep an eye on this. Also, apparently my giant honey badger that got released by the dragon didn't die. I will move it up there. That's kind of impressive in and of itself. Let's say cages. Oh, geez. I also need to make my door lockable again. Because currently it's not. Also, wow, everything burned. And is still burning. Ain't that nice? I didn't need wood. Anyway, who needs wood? Very burny out here. Okay, so what? Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, I see. You didn't. They didn't actually burn down that bridge. They just burned down other bridges. I thought that one got. Locum the peasant has been found melted. What'd you do, Locum? So this is why. No, you can't. You know, really. So I'm going to make an assumption right now. I think that dwarf was neutral. Because we are a capital. Yeah, right. See, most of these dwarves are fine. Vast majority of these dwarves totally fine. I'm going to let it have its eggs. The vast majority of these dwarves are fine. But every now and again, when one that is a neutral member and isn't actually part of my faction walks in, boom, suddenly they're in pieces. Even if they're like, if they're just like a permanent resident, they like, or a monster hunter, or a poet, or some random noble who's visiting, that'll happen. Dragon sneezed, pretty much. Dragon just goes blatchu, and then like 5 dwarves are burning. So we'll keep the dragon out like that because I think it's funny. But like, you know. It's sort of like, if you actually look at the combat logs that pop up a lot of the time, it's often like dog running into other dog. A lot of the time, it's like people tripping and like bumping into things. That's considered combat air quotes, make an alternative path. They're not going to prioritize a different pathway, but I mean, I could have like a specific way going into here. That's something I could do. It's like they specifically need to go in there to the dragon. But the thing that you need to remember is like, if they choose to path in this way, and yeah, you're probably right, making an alternate path is probably not a bad idea. If they choose to path in this way, there is a chance, very real chance, that they could just like be instigated by a dragon accidentally. Maybe not accidentally, but instigated by a dragon. Something on the surface has collapsed. Well, I wonder what that could be. I wonder. We're gonna be hearing that sound effect a lot. You know, something has collapsed. Fortunately, it seems like a lot of the fires have burnt out, though. You know, it's almost at the edge of the map. It's fine. Is combat when hedgehogs go into a ball, it's considered combat? I mean, I haven't spoken with many hedgehogs in my life, but I would assume they would also consider it combat. Can you specify who has access, like with guild halls? What, to a certain region like that? I could just make it a not prioritized zone, and then dwarves really won't go in there for any reason unless it's needed, such as to like collect eggs or train the dragon. And also, I think this is a bug, probably, or an oversight, but if you have a semi-tame animal and they cease being tame, they don't leave the burrow. So you actually have a good amount of time to like prep something to catch them. You are the capital of your current faction, is what happens when you become the capital. And also, a lot of the deaths I'm going to have with this dragon are just going to be accidental friendly fire, more than anything. Ah. Into your vampire soldiers. You seem like a criminal, Vakrak. Please don't take that personally, but you do seem like a criminal. Does your dwarf value the law? And also, I have a question. Where are you acquiring the blood from? Are you cutting yourself? Because, like, if you need a therapist, I don't know a good one, but I know an overpriced one. And probably somebody who's willing to sell you a better health sponsorship. This dragon was annoyed when choking on smoke underground. Also doesn't feel anything while in conflict. You literally go and let me at him. You know, I'm mildly curious. Should I just release this dragon from this confinement? Because it looks like it's trying to path somewhere, but I couldn't tell you where. Very tempted to just release the dragon. Oh, stuff's collapsing. That's fine. It's going to do that for a bit. Because it says it's in conflict right now. Quick save. I don't have DF hack running right now because it was making the game load slowly. I could save. Dragon named Kraken. No, the dragon's named Olbasp Parch taxes the Pearls of Sweltering and has 6 other kills and 2 notable kills. Shoutouts to this dwarf who's currently locked in here with the dragon. I'm also going to go here. And, well, actually, no, not there. I'm going to go here. And I'm just going to say any trainer, assigned or otherwise. I would never create fascist anything because I'm allergic to that word. So, no, I couldn't. And no, I won't. No, this person clearly isn't. Also, it would end up burning more of my own faction than anything. No. Dramonis. It creates useless materials by burning them. Well, I guess technically it can take grass and make it into ash, but I don't think that is really what you mean. Okay, so I'm actually realizing my dwarves are getting hungry. The reason they're getting hungry is I'm pretty sure a lot of my food is actually up here. So let's fix my burrow. Is the dragon on top of a pile of gold? It's a nest box that's made out of obsidian, I think. Because it's a lady dragon, and lady dragons make big omelets. I mean, make big eggs, which make big omelets. Basically, that dragon right now is just a really, really, really spicy chicken, and it doesn't know that. But it is being used as a really, really, really spicy chicken. And as a fan of spicy chicken, I'm here for it. It also destroyed a lot of my scaffolding. Yes, in that matter, yes, you were in fact correct. That being said, I do want to use this dragon as a doorman, though. But I couldn't actually use it as a doorman right now, because what will happen if I use it as a doorman is it will literally burn down my drawbridges constantly. Because dragons, regardless of the material of the drawbridge, can destroy drawbridges. Keep on thinking that's just like mass death, but it's actually just the shit caving in. Really dangerous, actually, these trees collapsing. No, but... Oh, from a random dwarf in the van. Okay, so I was actually genuinely curious about like how you were acquiring the blood, and my assumption was that you'd like turned yourself into a vampire, and then would just go get into fights and then lick yourself. That was my assumption, but... Or playing as one of your companions and then attacking yourself or something. The equivalent of that. That was my assumption. All right, let's get those in. No, I don't like Vancouver downtown at Robson. It's too far away. I do, however, quite enjoy like New Westminster. Much closer. And there's like 2 Korean spicy chicken places within like a 30-minute walk of me right now, which is also pretty good. Robson's a bit far. Like the other side of town, practically. I've said this many times. I don't live in downtown. I also don't spend much time in downtown, unless I'm going to concerts, in which case then it's breweries, concert, or pub, concert. And usually like Hastings area. KFC's awful. The food is delicious here. Also, I tend to spend much more time at like sushi places and stuff like that than chicken places. Chicken's just, especially fried chicken, kind of high carb for me. Hard to carb count accurately. It's got a lot of fat in it, which is also makes it even harder to carb count because it makes the carbohydrates like dissolve slower into your system. Sucks. Whoa! I think I found a side effect, chat, of the recent update. What's different about this image? Spot the difference, chat. Meals on tables, yeah. There's food. You can see the food on the table. Eating a rye seed stew? Whipvine seed stew? Yeah, I'm assuming if I jump over to the patch notes for a second. That is... this. Oops. The printed tabletops items on tables and stopped many other building items from printing on top of creatures. Which means, actually, now that I think about it, another side effect of that is tombs. Yeah, I had like half a dozen tombs that were just skeletons instead of coffins. I mean, I have no adventurers in this fort right now, Rydern, but yes, that is true. Makes for neat and appealing visuals. It's something I've very much missed from older versions, actually. It's one of those things that, like, I missed about older versions, but, like, never cared enough to really complain about it. It's just like, in my opinion, one of the coolest changes about the initial adventure mode patch was the re-addition of the icons that indicate lying down. Because it's way easier to spot now when a dwarf is having trouble walking for some reason, which, believe it or not, kind of important. Like when you look at your military and you can see 3 of them are lying down and you select them, it's like, oh, your legs are missing. Well then. Also, look at this giant badger. Was looking to see if anything was training you, because you are semi-wild still. What the hell is the trust passionate metal? I mean, I'm going to repeat the same thing I've said a dozen times. The save file is available in the announcement screen. It's a little bit old, but it's from the beginning of this fort. Any of you could go look it up without me having to retire. Unless you guys really, truly, genuinely actually want me to, like, make a hard save and spend 20 minutes retiring the fort and doing that. Which I could do. Which will probably lead to an unsatisfactory result. But I made a video reading the patch notes. The patch notes released after I started streaming. So that would be mighty old school of me. If I had. Clunk, clunk. But yeah, no, the patch notes released 20 minutes after my stream started, and contrary to some people's belief, I'm not 100% in Kit Fox's, like, immediate send DM before patch comes out. I knew there was a patch today. I didn't really know the contents of it and didn't get anything early, so. Unless I get stuff early, I can't have stuff ready before stream usually. Because usually stuff gets posted after I start stream, so it's usually the next day that I get stuff up. All right, well, I got that dwarf doing that thing. What's this? Oh, agitated burb. I mean, there's no real difference between the beta branch and the main branch stability-wise. For whatever that's worth. When you're in Montreal, did you ask why they're doing things a little bit weird? What? Can I ask you right now, what is the purpose of that question, and define weird? Am I going to ask them why they're French? Well, I don't need to answer that question because I understand how human culture works. Okay, so you're asking a question in the past tense, right? I haven't gone to Montreal yet. I'm going to Montreal in the first week of June, or second week of June. And no. And I don't know what you mean by a little weird. There's nothing weird about them not giving me information before it's ready. What? They're allowed to run their business exactly the way they want to run their business. And they don't need to send me every single piece of information before it's out or public. They don't make Dwarf Fortress. They published Dwarf Fortress. So there's a Forgotten Beast down there. I mean, I expressed that that is maybe a bad move, but why would I ask them why they did that? Who cares? They did it. I've already expressed that I think that that's a bad move because you're generally notifying people that already own the game, which is kind of annoying to people who own the game. Why would I? If you want to go ask them why they did that, you ask them why they did that. I'm not here to solve literally every single one of your minor curiosities about the publishing and business of a company that I don't work for. Period. I realize that might be kind of like a weirdly harsh response, but like, no. No, the thing that I think is that I think is a bad move, Night Revolt, or not Night Revolt, Killeth Dragon, is this, which I think they've actually deleted. I don't see it here now. Okay, they made a news post. I mean, maybe it's on the Steam page because it's not a pinned one. Yeah, they did. This thing, this notice. It's like you're kind of just spamming people. But that's it. Weird move. Why do that anyway? But that's about as much thought as I had about it. I wouldn't do that if I was publishing a video game. It just seems weirdly desperate and is like kind of bad signaling. That's all. But no, the thing you need to realize is when I'm going to Montreal, I'm going on vacation and I'm going to work as little as humanly possible. Yeah, no, I misread who read the thing, Night Revolt. My bad. Hi. Oh. It could be Gazoom, but you're still sending a notification to everybody who owns it, right? Yeah, that's probably what they're targeting. But there's, like, Steam has tools built in to do that without having to clog up the announcements area. It basically makes people less frequently look at that stuff. And you don't even register it at all? So allow me to reiterate. I think it's a weird move and I wouldn't do it. That's all. But that's just me backseat game marketing, and what the fuck do I know? Let's see. Okay, so obsidian blocks, boulder, rough gems, raw green glass, blocks. What else do you need? Raw green. Oh, probably more raw green. Bricks. Gem shining. Okay, we're gonna cut a gem. I think that's what we need. Yes. You didn't see the announcements, but Steam's never worked well for you? Oh, that's fair. There's still some oddities with Taverns Tomfool, but it's a pretty solid little patch. Also, I realize that there's just like miasma everywhere, but it's only so much I can do about it right now. Well, the dragon is no longer in a state of combat, so I guess that's good. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, I would never have guessed that you were Walker Loco. I think you probably already realized this, but your usernames are kind of different between platforms. Okay, so I can chop down 6 trees. I guarantee you it's not actually 6 trees. It's probably half that. So I'm going to chop down 2. Hope they don't attack me. Amethyst was found dead. I beg your pardon? Oh, Okay, so there's an agitated giant honey badger in my fort. Also, I just realized I need to turn that on. Actually, no, not that one. Swap them. I mean, it just killed Amethyst, so yeah, who knows the honey badger? It literally just killed my best gem cutter. And they're all beating it to death with their shields, hopefully. Also, this needs to be turned back into a tavern. Also, I just realized all my tables got burnt up in the tavern. I mean, okay. I guess I will place more tables then. Well, nope, I can't place more tables. Green glass it is then. You're welcome, I suppose. But it's the badger song, not the honey badger song. Man, it's been bleeding for a minute there. I'm sure the dwarves are just beating the ever-living shit out of it. Yep. They're just smacking it in the head repeatedly with their shields. I can also send these dwarves up here. And it's dead. And a peasant has been found dead. Well, that's unfortunate. It's very, very, very unfortunate. But, you know, it is what it is. I wonder if I have doors. I actually can't remember. Doors? Looks like it. You know, I'm actually kind of amazed at the body count of this fort. Like, the body count of this fort is significantly higher than recent forts I've had. And I haven't actually been attacked by an enemy faction yet. It's kind of impressive to me, to be honest with you. Always leaves no chairs and tables, unless they're artifacts, but yeah. Endok, the glassmaker, has created Mathul Mished them. So miss with a, you know, a lisp. It's a green glass statue of the lost esteem. And offers it to the hot sparks. So my king ain't happy with his throne room yet. So you know what? Kingy McGingy, you can have this. Actually, no. You can have this. Also, a ghost has been causing like sadness and depression here. 10 Katin Chiron. It's the most dwarfy name I've seen in a minute. What is the Lost Esteem? I have no idea. It looks like a minotaur. But we have to wait for them to construct it first. I like how these dwarves just carried doors in here. What? Okay. But yeah, the Lost Esteem appears to be a minotaur. Steam doesn't work well. I've been having some really weird issues with Steam lately. Keleth Dragon. Like some really weird issues. And when I say weird issues, I mean like Steam just taking a million years to load for some reason. I'm starting to think I might own too many video games or something. Not like I would make any crazy suggestions, but I think I might own too many video games. Here it comes. Morning, Undeath. How is ye? How is we? How is ye? I don't even know what I'm saying. How are you? It's so pretty. It's very green. It's just this whole thing just makes me think of like mint chocolate ice cream. This whole fort. We caught a dragon. Undeath. Not only that, but it's a trained dragon from a previous one of my forts, which is kind of crazy. The item is a masterfully designed image of the Lost Esteem, the Minotaur, in green glass by Endok. The Lost Esteem is traveling. The artwork relates to the wandering of the Minotaur, the Lost Esteem, in the forests of speech in the late spring of 30. It is encrusted with cushion obsidian cabochons, oval cut milk opals, trillion cut red tourmalines, and this object menaces with spikes of green glass and milk opal and pigtail. And on the item is an image of a dimple cup in llama wool. Okay. It walked in. Well, we grabbed it and put a leash on it, and now it's in here sitting on its, like, nest box. But yeah, if you want to be oddly specific like that and be very correct in everything that you just said, yes, we didn't catch a dragon. It volunteered, okay? True, we did have to sacrifice it. Actually, also, I need to rebuild my trade depot now that you mention it. And apparently there's a dwarf there named Cybrek who's dead, which is unfortunate. I don't know who that is, but... okay, you know what, Cybrek, you're gonna get this bedroom. Or not bedroom. Tomb! How do you spell that name? Sibrek. So if I can't assign a tomb to them, that usually means that they are not a member of the fort. Usually. Oh. Deconstruct these doors. Final bedroom. Yeah, well, same thing. Let's go here. Doop. Some flooring. This. Let's also go right here and do this. So help me build around this. You can go from here. This should be in the burrow, but it probably isn't. I was correct. Okay. Let's also knock down that gem. You know, to me, Chad, you can, please disagree with me and let me know if you think this is not right. But doesn't it make more sense that they would show up partially trained still than showing up not trained at all? Like, this is a dragon that spent 10 years of its 40-year life in a dwarven fortress being actively trained. Like, doesn't it make more sense that it would show up still partially trained than like completely wild still? Or do I live in a different reality? You're allowed to disagree. I'm just curious as to what you guys think. Because in my mind, it makes a lot of sense for it to be that way. Well, I mean, dragons can lose their training, right? But it was well trained when I left. Now it's partially trained. So, like, on one hand, yeah, it's probably a weird interaction / bug thing. But thematically, To me, it makes sense. You can get behind this thinking? Yeah, I mean, like, that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's like, no, I agree it's probably, like, an oversight. Or a, air quotes, issue, but it's a pretty cool one. I mean, like, as an example, right? A recent oversight that was literally reported as a bug, proven to be a bug, it was referred to by the devs as a bug, is being intentionally left in, which is the ability for giants and other large surface creatures, like cyclopses and minotaurs, they can join religions in Dwarf Fortress. So when they added religions in its current form and made them joinable, in Legends and World Gen, giants, minotaurs, and other large creatures like that can join religions. And because they can join religions, they can become members of factions. And while that doesn't actually do anything mechanically to fort mode, it does, however, make it so that in Legends, they just cannot attack certain factions. So to me, it's like, yeah, it's exactly, it's upholding the continuity of of previous forts, which I don't think is a negative thing. I think that is a net positive. And also investments are opens if you want. Remember having Fort in 47 that was attacked by a Cyclops who was part of a religion and is friendly with your dwarves and even killed a were-rhino while skulking around the surface? Oh, that's rad. Yeah, I want to say it was version 47.04 or .01. It was like one of the early version 47s where that became a thing. And yeah, no, it's like, no, it was reported, it showed up in the bug tracker, it was referred to as a bug by the developers, and then they were just kind of like, hey, can we leave this in? Because, like, this is kind of a cool storytelling mechanism and, like, world-building device. So, the humans have arrived to trade. I wonder if anybody's told them that there's a dragon in the fort. Or maybe they're just dragging their feet on keeping up with the local news. Also, the fact that I literally don't have a trade depot yet. Well, I guess I should make one. We should let them know to, like, you know, don't mind the body parts and the dead things in the main walking area. I mean, it's a little bad, but hey, we'll make it better, slowly. No, yeah, no, totally. many features are just updated slash, like, yeah, or like repurposed bugs. I mean, like, Warframe is a perfectly prime example, example of that in action, right? Like flying being a bug. Here's the thing. Chat room, you can call the dragon whatever you want. I don't want to rename it because I'd rather leave it as its, like, given name. Just for Legends purposes. So if you want to refer to it as Fluffy, be my guest. I'm not going to give it a nickname, though. Or Cuddly, or Dum Dum, or Is Baby. Actually, that's a pretty accurate name. The Creeper one? Hmm? The She-Dragon. Yeah, in the closet. Hothead. Spicy face. I'm not familiar of a creeper-related bug that turned into a feature, so you're going to have to enlighten me if you would like me to be educated on such bugs. Spicy McSpiceface. I mean, that's what the internet would name it. This is what would happen if I did like a voting and actually permitted chat to vote entirely to select what it's called or whatever. I'm just trying to get this out of here, man. Is there somebody coming to cut gems? Nope. I have no idea who's coming to collect this. Traders are unloading their goods. I wonder... Oh, never mind. Wait, what? No, they are not. But they are standing there awkwardly. Whoa, I just realized. Our vampire actually, like, confessed. So what's your total? 188 days in prison. Captain of the guard. Outraged at the scarcity of changing cage. Okay, you know what? Silk rope. Let's make 40 silk ropes. I'm gonna fix this problem for you, dude. I'm going to do it. Also, you literally should have no jobs. There's much to discuss as the keeper of the seal. I don't know, they changed literally every single fortress. So, slugger. That's the thing about a lot of the things I build in Dwarf Fort, is it literally changes almost every fort. So, I don't really have a philosophy for building anything. I just kind of build things that I think look cool every time. And I don't really worry about it too much. Like, everybody assumes that I should have, like, some sort of, like, philosophy or, like, thought process, but I really don't. I just make things I think look cool. And then people call me an artistic genius for some fucked up reason. Which, I don't know. I just don't build squares. I guess me not making squares makes me an artistic genius. I'll have you know, modern art is like circle, smiley face, emoji subpost. Yay! The pesky dwarf has been laid to rest. Half a year for being a little thirsty. No, half a year for eating somebody. Although I'm really quite annoyed at my captain of the guard, who I've never actually seen chain somebody up. Like, to the point where I think that either my prison is not working properly. Oh, wow. Okay, finally. Now you're actually doing it. Either my prison isn't working properly. Okay, finally, you're chained up. Sweet. Either my prison isn't working properly, which is very possible, or I screwed up and didn't make it big enough, which is also very possible, or something was up. But anyway, it should be sorted now because they're actually ending up in there. Guilty after being confined. Guilty after being confined. Guilty after being confined. Guilty after being confined. And guilty after being confined. Well, that's unfortunate. How about this? One of my favorite criminals I ever had in a fort was a vampire who ate somebody who fell asleep in the tavern. And there was like 150 like witnesses or something because they ate somebody in the middle of a tavern who fell asleep. And then right after doing that, they immediately stopped and started telling a story. And the story was about the time that they killed somebody in a tavern. Which, to this day, one of the funniest things. Like, literally ate somebody in public, had lots of witnesses, everybody knew, bragged about it. Like, there is something wonderful about that. Wonderfully Dwarf Fortress. All right. Well, I feel like there's too many jobs going on right now. What is everybody doing? A lot of random nonsense. Yeah, okay. All right, there we go. Nice little pile of statues and tables. You either make your prisons so the sun shines on Tronvix or water drips on them constantly. Oh, and they, like, get happy thoughts from being near mist? Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It's actually a pretty good idea. Okay, what's this ghost? Rovad! Pretty sure I know exactly who that dwarf is. But yeah, sometimes with tombs, I make a lot of effort and put a lot of like thought into the layouts of them. Sometimes I just kind of forget I need to make tombs and then make like a ton all in one room and then assign them to individual tiles. Like, there isn't really a method to my madness. It just kind of, it's based on necessity, convenience, and whatever I think looks cool at the time, which very much just kind of changes almost every fort. There you go, Grimver the Hopeless. Thank you much for the 5-stream streak. Congratulations. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how I managed this. I have text-to-speech notifications. Pilot Guy resubbed for a 49th month 1 hour ago. I didn't even notice it. Like, there's more text-to-speech right now in my chat than I've had in literally years. And I didn't hear one of my longest time regulars resubbing. What the fuck is wrong with me? Apparently I'm going deaf now, on top of my normal issues. That is bizarre. I do not know why that doesn't work. Because it's literally been sitting there with a needs to be moved job for months in game, maybe years even. Like, see, it says it needs to be moved, so I can't build a floor tile underneath it. So if I toss it and tell them to toss it, and they move it 2 tiles to the left, then I can then remove this button after the fact, and they'll drop it again, and then I can build that tile. But I missed your shiny new hat earlier this month. Man, I'm bad at my job. So I'm sorry. I need to get better at being a less shit streamer. No, it's not a bug. These dwarves are just overworked. Like, I've got the same thing happening with a half dozen of gems. There's just too many jobs right now. Because hauling jobs like getting rid of things get queued up immediately. And then they stay queued up. And you cannot do construction or anything underneath them. It's not really a bug. It just means my dwarves are severely overworked, which is true. No, we're not. What, Ryder? Oh, that's probably definitely some of it. Dominoc. Like, this gem is another example. It just kind of is what it is. Like, it's not really game-breaking. It's just kind of mildly annoying. That needs to be pulled. I have no idea what you're talking about, Ryder. You sometimes strike me as the sort of person who isn't very good at typing and thus makes sentences out of words that sound horrific every now and again. Not intending to do it intentionally. So I'm not holding any of this against you, but wow, that sounds really weird if, like, without any sort of context or real explanation as to what you mean. So please think about what you type before you type it. Because gosh, dude. No, the gem won't be moved aside when someone goes to build it. Because the gem has a permanent job on it, right? Now it's gone because it's no longer in that area. But because it had a permanent job on it for so long, they literally can't move it aside. That's the problem. That's why my construction jobs were getting canceled. I still don't know what you're trying to communicate to me. It still sounds weird and problematic. But, okay. What's the fort name? This fort name? FireOrb. Dwarf you, Jesse? Sure, what kind of dwarf would you like? Any shield bashers? Sure. Would you like a beard or no beard? Okay, so I have actually seen that VeggieTales episode, but that is far too deep a cut for me to have any idea about what you're talking about. But, oh my god, VeggieTales. Anyway. Beard, please. Okay. You can be FiCod. You can be editor-in-chief of the Wacky Squad. Jesse XV. Bonkmaster Extreme. Does not generally seek retribution for past wrongs aside from whacking people with shields. Is very curious, sometimes to his detriment, and I really hope that giant honey badger that ran by is friendly and not evil. He has a great aesthetic sensitivity. He is conflicted by this since he values artwork and its creation. He finds helping others to be emotionally rewarding, has a greedy streak, often acts with compassion, could be considered rude, and generally is pleased by his own appearance and talents. He doesn't cling tightly to ideas and is open to changing his mind. He is a friendly individual and sometimes acts with little determination and confidence, and he tends to be passive in discussions. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't really care about anything anymore. He dreams of raising a family and personally sees guile and cunning as indirect and somewhat worthless, sees working hard as a foolish waste of time, values tranquility and a peaceful day, and dreams of raising a family someday. He has some friends, but isn't married. Has good analytical ability as a legendary swords dwarf, somehow. Doesn't have a sword equipped, and has 2 shields equipped. And is a adept shield bonker. So, yeah. They are dual-wielding shields, yes. Are they effective? They basically just like make a circle around the enemy and then like pretend that they're in WWE back when they whacked each other with chairs. That's quite literally what they do. And then just go for way too long, and then eventually they fall asleep, and then they keep going for way too long, and then eventually the enemy falls unconscious and somehow bleeds to death. If you want to make an adventurer that does that, that is one reason to be a bug person, because they can wield more than 2 shields. Yeah, we're basically fighting with 2x4s. Maybe more than 2x4s, but... But yeah, this map has no metal on it. So we're kind of doing a challenge run, although I really dislike the whole culture around challenge runs, so I don't really advertise it. But we are... While I am able to get metal by, like, importing it and stuff, or just, like, acquiring it from other means, metal is not something I'm allowed to use for weapons in this fort. Also, welcome back, Bastet. Is it really being received badly? I heard good things about it from friends pre-release who got it early. I've heard it's a lot simpler than Homeworld 1 and 2, and is a lot more streamlined, but I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you're trying to reboot a franchise, really. So, but I don't know. I mean, maybe it's terrible. I know it has de novo. I don't know how much of the bad response is de novo. Yeah, but how much of the bad responses has de novo? Also, remember, I've had a lot of fun with mixed reviews games before. And mixed reviews doesn't necessarily mean bad game. It just means people dissatisfied with game. Which doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. Okay, there's a rodent man fighting with a Grundle. Boxer with steel gauntlets. I'm wondering what other materials you could make out of gauntlets out of that would be more effective than steel, because you need heavy thing. Rovad, I think I made a gravestone for you, didn't I? Did I not? Yes. Yeah, but it's not automatic. Lead isn't an armor item. You can't make... You can make artifact lead gauntlets. You'd have to, like, start off with an armorsmith guild, though. Man, that'd be fun. Lead shields. Oof. Platinum shields. Let's go. Okay, so now this volcano can flood. And aside from this one tile, I can't really flood my fort. I'm going to put an obsidian piece right here. But yeah, lead is one of the densest materials in Dwarf Fort. Don't pick a bug person if planning to do this with water. Anything that is to do with water. Explain? It appears the Grundles have gone to war with the rodent people. What's the instrument of death I'm building in this fort? I don't really have one. I mean, I kind of have this, but it wouldn't be super effective. But randomly out of nowhere, this dragon showed up, who is semi-wild right now, and also happens to be a dragon I had in a previous fortress. And this dragon from this previous fortress was still semi-wild after it arrived here. Oh, so like they can't swim? Is that what you're saying? I didn't know that. It's interesting, actually. Oh, hey, that book got moved. It's nifty. Wait. Yeah, it did. That is nifty. Neato. A very angry baby that doesn't have a bed. I know exactly what line of text in an init file you need to change to make anything smeltable out of metal. Well, I know that mods like that exist. I don't know. It's kind of like, it's kind of like the Minecraft, like diamond pickaxe annoyance for me, where it's like, this is so far away from anything even remotely adjacent to reality that it hurts my brain. It's like, I realize we live in a world that also includes, like, adamantine, right? But the whole concept of lead weapons is so silly because, like, you can poke lead and leave an imprint in it with your thumb. It's like, that would be awful, awful, awful weaponry. Oh, I mean, Terraria is a fantastic... Terraria has walls of flesh. There's a point where it's like, yeah, okay, this game doesn't care about reality. But yeah, go nuts, have fun. Aside from losing is fun, there are no dumb questions, and avoid using DF hack until you've learned the basics. That's it. That's what I got for you. No, we don't. Walls of soap were patched out in version 50. We have not had soap walls since version 50 of Dwarf Fortress. We used to have walls of soap. It was a bug. It was a bug that the creators didn't like, and it is a bug that has since been removed from the video game. I mean, you don't have to watch me. I would appreciate it, but you don't have to. Oh, I was wondering why I had giant lorikeets flapping around. Apparently I have a bunch of baby ones. Well, that's cool. Oh, wrong screen. Bum, 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 bum. Nothing, because I feel like I would be a terrible pet owner. Oh, actually, do king snakes exist in Dwarf Fortress? No, I would have a chameleon. Chameleons exist in Dwarf Fortress. I would have a pet chameleon, because I would like to have a pet chameleon again. Or like a pet tree frog. I've thought about getting one of those relatively recently. There you go. No, but I know they exist in real life. I was wondering if they were in Dwarf Fortress. Because I like king snakes. King snakes are nice. Same with corn snakes, but I'm pretty sure corn snakes don't exist in Dwarf Fort. A Minotaur has come. This one's named Ini. It's a humanoid monster with the head of a bull. It doesn't have any items. It's the enemy of the creep of night. Its mother's named Whammy, and its dad's name is Kata. It's 68 years old. It's private to the point of paranoia, unwilling to reveal even basic information about himself and he becomes completely helpless in stressful situations. Well, I'm gonna try and do a thing. Pull this lever really quickly, maybe. No, they didn't pull it quickly enough. Well, I'll let them pull it anyway. It's fine. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to send all my squads down here and see what they can do. I think it's trying to climb. Nope, it's not. There it goes. It's immediately beating the ever-living shit out of Stodier, who's in pain and bleeding heavily. The dwarves then push it down the ramp, and it actually slips backwards. One of the Minotaur actually put them into a joint lock. It dodged after. Okay, so a dwarf, multiple dwarves pushed it essentially, and it dodged out of the way, and it fell backwards down here, and it actually smacked the ground, and now it's stunned. Now it's bleeding because the dwarves have started punching it repeatedly. It's enraged. Its teeth just went flying out, I'm pretty sure. Yep, its teeth did, in fact, go flying out. It did manage to kill one dwarf, though, it appears. Zulban. Actually having a peek at this, yep, it did, in fact, kill Zulban. How did it kill Zulban? It killed Zulban because... it strangled Zulban. Dwarves are continuing to punch it from the upper layers. The shield dwarves have arrived to fight it. I'm still not sure how this dwarf ever became a hammer dwarf. But, you know. It's gonna get nasty? Nah. Not at all. But we are in an ad break, so that's pretty nasty. No, I mean, like, 20 or 10 dwarven peasants can, with no fighting skill whatsoever, can kill one of these guys, so... He uses shields as hammers. That's the thing, though. Like, my hammer dwarves have all ended up with different... Or not hammer dwarves. My shield dwarves have all ended up with, like, different combat skills. I've got 2 that are considered sword dwarf. This one's a mace lord, which doesn't make any sense to me. This one's a wrestler. This one's a hammer dwarf. Like, I don't fully get it. Like, they're all getting different weaponry assignments and weapon skills, even though none of them have those weapons equipped. It's really strange. Anyway, it's currently seriously injured after getting one single kill. The most recent hit, the Force twists the neck, tearing apart the skin. The Hammer Lord strikes it with her Date Palm Wood shield, bruising the muscle. So I think, yep, it's down. So they're just smacking it now. It's bleeding, nauseous, heavy bleeding, heavy bleeding, heavy bleeding, heavy bleeding, heavy bleeding, dead. Easy peasy. Maybe it depends on how they're hitting it. Like, if they're smacking it, then clearly, you know, they are gaining hammer skill. If they're slapping with it, then it's mace skill. If they're stabbing with it, I don't know how you stab with a shield, but like, if they're stabbing with it, then it's different skill. So you're all done. You're all done. This is all done. It's this big old wall here. I kind of want to get this area done. This is green glass, actually. This whole fort is green glass and obsidian. Yeah. If you throw it, you're a Marks dwarf. Wouldn't that be a throw dwarf? Or a throwback? Sometimes I question the things even I say. It's so nice. This whole fort just looks like mint chocolate to me. Like mint chocolate ice cream. And with a name like FireOrb, it's like kind of funny. But in this fort, we actually had something really exciting today happen. We had a dragon show up, which was a dragon that I had previously trained in a previous fort. And it showed up as semi-wild, which is kind of awesome. I also do have some clear glass. This is clear glass. But most of it is green glass. One could say that this beacon and pyramid above the lava area is a green lantern. I think that's a unique name that has never been taken by anyone or anything before previously. Pretty sure we can use that, right? mountain home soon. I'd have to do a lot of digging. I mean, I need like to go for what's it called? Adamantine for that. There you go. Thank you very much for the 3-stream streak. I don't know how I feel about streaks. You know, I've only had them in my chat for a little bit now. I don't really like FOMO tactics, even though they do make money. But regardless, I kind of hinted at this a little bit earlier, chat. I don't actually have all day today. I have a thing I need to get to in about 25 minutes. So, we're going to be doing just under 9 hours today on the old stream o'clock. But, you know, we had some fun adventures today. Died twice in adventure mode, which is, you know, great. And looks like we've got our new dragon trainer, who's Shake Break, currently. Who is currently training Ospasp, who's still semi-wild, but, you know, hopefully doesn't feel anything at work. Hopefully it will, you know, gain more intelligence. I'm very sad that, like, this dragon will never, like, be able to make its eggs into actual, you know, baby dragons, but maybe one day we'll catch a boyfriend for her. But at the end of the day, I think it's time for us to say bid adieu to FireOrb. Does I know how to train as the dragon? Hopefully. I hope that dwarf knows how to train the dragon. Yeah. But chat, we're going to save and return to title mending. Twitch chat, now it's time to say goodnight to YouTube chat. YouTube chat, we'll see you tomorrow. That's the normal time. I will be on at 10 a.m. Pacific. I'm thinking tomorrow I'm probably going to retire this fort and then adventure to it is probably what we're going to do. We're probably going to retire this fort at the start of the stream, grab the old elephant adventurer who's probably still alive, maybe make a party, and then wander to this location, and then retire in that location. And then in the evening, after I play some more fort mode probably, we're going to play some more of that Crypt Master, because tomorrow I have all day and I don't have any obligations or things I need to do, so I don't need to, like, go off anywhere and, you know, leave my apartment and go outside and other terrifying things like that. So because of that, you know, I will have more time to stream, so we can go for, like, you know, 10, 11 hours, like a more normal stream, instead of today where it's been, and yesterday where it's been a little bit short.